Welcome to Trivera's AI Deep Dive podcast, hosted by Chip and Nova, our AI co-hosts. Together, they transform top marketing insights from our blogs, articles, and events into actionable strategies you can use. Ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. It feels like the digital world is always evolving at warp speed, and today's topic is at the heart of it all: user privacy.
Right. We're going beyond those cookie banners we all see online, diving into Google consent mode. We're breaking down a blog post by Tom Snyder, Trivera's founder. He explains how consent mode is more than just checking boxes for regulations, like GDPR.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I think most people just click accept all without thinking twice. So how does Google consent mode actually change things?
Well, it's like offering users more control. Instead of just accepting or rejecting all cookies, consent mode offers more options. Users can choose what data they're comfortable sharing.
That's a big change. But to play devil's advocate here, doesn't that make things harder for businesses? Data is important for marketing and understanding their audience.
That's a valid point. But Tom argues that this actually presents a huge opportunity for businesses. By being transparent and giving users more control, you build trust. And trust leads to better engagement and online reputation.
So it's not just about following the rules, it's about creating a better experience. I like that. But I'm still not clear on the technical side. What happens when a user declines cookies? Does a business just lose out on all that data?
Not necessarily. This is where Google consent mode gets really clever. Even when a user declines cookies, websites can still gather some anonymized data, aggregated data.
Okay, hold on. What does that mean?
Good point. Basically, anonymized data has no personally identifiable information. And aggregation means compiling data from multiple users to see overall trends without identifying individuals.
So it's like getting a general sense of user behavior without knowing the specifics of each person. Okay, that makes sense.
Right, and that data can still be very valuable for businesses. It can help with website analytics, understanding how people navigate your site, and tailoring your content to be more effective.
So businesses can still gather useful insights while still respecting user privacy. It sounds like a win-win.
Exactly.
But how do businesses use Google consent mode? It sounds complicated. Is it something that needs a lot of technical knowledge?
Well, there are tools that can help streamline the process. Tom mentions a few in his blog post. Compliance, OneTrust, and ConcreteCMS.
Okay, but I bet those tools are probably designed for big companies with dedicated IT departments.
Yeah.
What about smaller businesses?
Not at all. Actually, one of the tools Tom mentions, ConcreteCMS, is known for being user-friendly and easy to integrate. Even if you're not a tech expert, you can use Google consent mode on your site.
That's good to hear. So it sounds like there's a solution out there for everyone. And as user privacy keeps being a hot topic, it makes sense for businesses to get ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. Tom even points out that some platforms are already taking the initiative, like HubSpot CMS. They have built-in GDPR tools. So businesses using HubSpot don't need separate plugins for cookie management.
That makes sense. HubSpot has always been focused on user experience, so this seems natural for their platform.
Right. And it shows how important user privacy is becoming for all businesses.
So let's talk about the bigger picture. What do you think this shift towards user privacy means for the future of online interactions?
Well, it's clear that users are becoming more aware of their data, and they're demanding transparency, and that's a good thing. It forces businesses to think about how they collect and use data.
Yeah, it feels like we're moving away from that Wild West mentality of just grabbing data.
Exactly. And I think it's going to lead to a more ethical and sustainable approach online, where both businesses and consumers feel respected and empowered.
It's like a power shift is happening. Users are taking more control, and businesses are adapting.
You hit the nail on the head. It's a fundamental shift, and it's a positive development. It's a healthier online environment for both sides.
It almost feels like a return to the basics, focusing on building trust and genuine connections, rather than just seeing users as data points.
I agree, and that's why this topic is so important. It's not just about compliance. It's about adapting to a new reality, embracing a more user-centric approach.
Well said. This has been eye-opening. We've covered a lot, from the technical aspects of Google consent mode to the bigger implications.
We have. And Tom's blog post gives us all something to think about.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up part one, I want to ask our listeners a question. If this shift towards user privacy is a sign of things to come, what other changes do you think we'll see in the digital landscape? We'll continue in part two, but until then, keep thinking about it.
Hi, I'm Webster, Trivera's newest team member, an advanced AI assistant, here to deliver digital marketing that drives measurable results and maximizes your ROI. At Trivera, we combine cutting-edge technology with creative strategy to produce real success. From search engine optimized websites to ROI-driven marketing and lead generation campaigns, email, social media, and marketing automation, we use tools like Me to analyze data, refine strategies, and deliver results that matter. With over 28 years of experience helping build southeastern Wisconsin's strongest brands, Trivera is the partner you can trust to produce, measure, and grow your success. And now, with the power of AI on the team, we're taking marketing to the next level. Visit Trivera.com today and see how we can help your business thrive. Trivera, where creativity meets technology to deliver digital marketing that converts.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. Now back to our conversation with Chip and Nova.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. We're continuing our exploration of Google Consent Mode and the future of user privacy.
You know, one thing that stuck out to me in Tom's blog post was how he sees this shift towards user privacy as a strategic advantage for businesses.
Absolutely. It's not just about meeting regulations, it's an opportunity to differentiate yourself and build deeper trust with your audience.
Right. He says it's a chance to create a more user-centric experience, which can lead to better engagement and business outcomes.
And he gives concrete examples of tools that can help. We talked about a few earlier, but let's look closer at their pros and cons.
Perfect. Because for someone who's just starting to explore Google Consent Mode, it can be tough to know where to begin.
Exactly. So let's start with compliance. It seems like a good option, especially for businesses that need a lot of control over consent management or that deal with multiple privacy regulations.
I'm guessing that also means it's more complex to set up.
You're right. Compliance definitely for businesses with more complex needs. It has a lot of customization options, but you might need some technical expertise to use it properly.
Got it. So maybe not the best choice for a small business that's just getting started.
Right. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have ConcreteCMS. Tom highlighted its simplicity and how easy it is to integrate. It's a great place to start for smaller businesses or those who are new to Google Consent Mode.
That sounds promising. So is there something in between those two?
There is. Tom also mentioned OneTrust. It's somewhere in the middle, designed for larger companies, but still relatively user-friendly.
Okay, so there are options for every level of complexity, but what I found interesting was Tom's mention of HubSpot CMS. It has a built-in solution.
That's a big advantage for businesses already using HubSpot. Having GDPR tools right in the CMS streamlines the process. No need for separate plugins.
It also shows that HubSpot is serious about user privacy.
Absolutely. And it reflects a broader trend in the tech industry. Companies are incorporating privacy considerations into their platforms and strategies.
It's like we're seeing a power shift. Users are gaining more control. Businesses are responding.
You hit the nail on the head. It's a fundamental shift in the digital landscape and ultimately a positive development. It's fostering a healthier online environment where both businesses and users feel respected and empowered.
I completely agree. It's not just about compliance anymore. It's about a sustainable and ethical approach to data collection, prioritizing transparency and user trust.
Well said. And users are responding to that message. When businesses show they value privacy, it builds a foundation for genuine connections.
So as we navigate this new era of data privacy, what are some key takeaways for businesses?
That's a great question. I think the most important takeaway is to embrace the change. Don't view it as a burden or just another regulation. See it as an opportunity. Evolve your approach. Build stronger relationships with your audience. And create a more ethical and sustainable online presence.
I think that's powerful. Shifting your mindset. Seeing user privacy as a catalyst for positive change.
Exactly. And that leads to another point. Explore the tools. We've talked about a few. But there's something out there for everyone, whether you're on WordPress, ConcreteCMS, HubSpot, or anything else. Don't be intimidated by the technical aspects. There's help out there.
That's a good reminder. There's no need to go it alone. And as you become more comfortable with Google Consent Mode, you can tailor your approach to your needs and audience.
Right. And maybe most importantly, remember that user privacy isn't static. It's constantly evolving. Stay informed about the latest developments, best practices, and new regulations.
Staying ahead of the curve is so important. So as we wrap up part 2, what's one final thought you'd leave our listeners with regarding Google Consent Mode?
I'd say this. Don't just implement Google Consent Mode because you have to. Do it because you value your users' privacy. You want to build the digital experience based on trust and transparency. Embrace the change. Differentiate yourself. Connect with your audience. Create a more ethical and sustainable online world.
Well said. Those are words to live by in the digital age. We've covered a lot. And I'm eager to hear your final thoughts on what this all means for the future in part 3.
Hi, I'm Tom Snyder, president of Trivera. For over 28 years, we've been helping southeastern Wisconsin's strongest brands grow with digital marketing that produces results. At Trivera, we don't just build websites, we create SEO-driven platforms that attract the right audience. We don't just run campaigns, we design strategies that generate leads, drive conversions, and maximize ROI. Our team combines creativity and cutting-edge technology to help you produce measurable success. And now, we're leading the way with AI-powered tools that refine strategies and deliver even greater results for your business. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level, let's talk. Visit Trivera.com today and learn how we can help your business thrive. Trivera, where creativity meets technology to deliver digital marketing that converts.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. Now back to our conversation with Chip and Nova.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. For the final part of our conversation about Google Consent Mode, you really helped explain this whole world of user privacy. But I'm curious to hear your perspective on the bigger picture. What does this all mean for the future of how we interact online?
You know, one thing Tom said in his blog post really resonated with me. He talked about how Google Consent Mode isn't just about following the rules, it's about respecting user privacy and creating a space online where people feel confident in how their data is being used.
It's almost like instead of just reacting to regulations, businesses are taking the initiative to build trust and transparency.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just about avoiding risk. It's about creating a better user experience that benefits everyone.
So this isn't just a technical change or a legal requirement, but a fundamental shift in how we think about data and user privacy. It sounds like we're moving towards a more ethical digital world.
I think so. And it's a shift that's happening everywhere, from huge tech companies like Google and HubSpot to small businesses. Everyone's realizing how important it is to build a more ethical and sustainable approach to data.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with about Google Consent Mode and user privacy?
Embrace the change. Don't think of it as a burden, but as a way to stand out and connect with your audience more deeply. It's a chance to build a stronger, more trustworthy relationship with your users, one that's built on respect and transparency.
Well said. This has been a fascinating conversation about Google Consent Mode and how user privacy is changing. It's clear that this is more than a fad. It's a fundamental shift that will keep shaping how we interact online.
It's been great talking with you about this. And for our listeners, don't forget to check out the show notes for links to Tom's blog post and all of the resources we mentioned.
And like always, we encourage you to keep learning about digital marketing and technology. Stay curious. Stay ahead of the curve. Until next time, keep exploring.
Thanks for joining us on Trivera's AI Deep Dive with Chip and Nova. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more and stay up to date with new episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, or find them on our website and our social media channels. And don't forget to visit us at Trivera.com to learn how we can help take your marketing to the next level. Ready to talk? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.